This bug has taken such a long time to be acknowledged and as well responded back to. Hi everybody, welcome to a very interesting deep dive into a story we've covered on the channel for a little while. If you remember back along this particular forum thread, this one right here, which is the Alliance War placement bug and matchmaking in general, which we're going to talk about. There's just been layers to this particular bug which Kabam have finally kind of like, I'd say, admitted to, talked about, give a bit more kind of clarity. And as I said recently, White Mummy reached out and talked about their particular issue, his particular issue on the matter, and of course White Mummy has a lot of problems with being able to access the game, which has been incredibly annoying. He messaged me and showcased here from season 48 with a message saying that we had a player decided to stop playing MCOC altogether. We found a replacement, new player, can't place defense. Some story as well happened to SGA. Of course, that's the story. But yeah, this is something that affected White Mummy. Very important for New Nation because they are like right up there. They're one of the more like competitive, and this is like their season is like, look, Masters is kind of the benchmark, like top of Masters. To then go out of that, it seems that's not new N. When you look at like the end kind of results each season, it's like most of the time it's new N in the top brackets of things, whether you like it or not. And a very very clean, very when I say clean, I mean like methodical fighting alliance. So yeah, it's crazy that this has been such an issue for a long time. As I said, and as well, well put by White Mummy, the issue with SGA1, SGA Alliance, but also there's been other stuff as well. And recently, and as a lot of you know, we covered this on a channel where somebody reached out to the channel about their alliance and how that they had some weird stuff with matchmaking where they were thrusted into the wrong kind of map. They were meant to be in expert and found themselves in elite. They're no business being in some of the places that they are, and they've been matchmaked. And Kabam's response to the matter was something bizarre. You can see right there on the screen that the numbers, like, it just doesn't match up with the matchmaking. So some other stuff with matchmaking is very weird, wonky, but also some things with placements, people joining and leaving alliances, causing somewhat of a confusion to what seems to be some placement issues. Look, that's the best TLDR I can really kind of like give you in this particular segment, but it's been relentless for these particular players with not being able to have a competitive season, or at least recoup some of the rewards that they would either, number one, normally get, or number two, work hard to get. Because people would say, oh, well, these people don't deserve, maybe actually some people say this, don't deserve to have what they normally get in Alliance Wars. Well, look, if they were able to, without any fault of their own, get on with doing an Alliance War season, I'm pretty certain that they'd achieve what they were setting out to achieve. But there's not. You're either this season going, do you know what, we're having a good season so far, or not. Now, I don't want to jinx how our particular season's going with our alliance, but, it's fingers crossed to everybody. Good luck. But look, there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. Unfortunately for these alliances, since February, SGA in particular, but there's also other alliances, not just SGA, they haven't been able to get their wars kicked off, their seasons. I think it affected them last season. I think it's affected them at the start of this season. So I don't know how Kabam are going to frame it with any kind of compensation. Compensation, of course, it's going to be very important. So yeah, the other thing to this is the bug and the response and the lack of response that's been here since the last month. So having a month where you're not kind of finding out, look, is Alliance War broken for us as an alliance? You're left in limbo, purgatory, whatever you want to classify it. And I'm not talking about limbo from Magic, and I'm not talking about purgatory, the champion of purgatory. It's just something that hasn't been well responded to mainly with an update, and especially for members of Kabam knowing what's going on, to let support know what's going on, because this has been a bug that has been troubling for Kabam, which we're going to learn about in a minute. So the problem is Kabam support is very copy-paste, which I think a lot of us know. You must be living on a rock if you didn't know that they are, especially if you had interactions with them. Sometimes they're good, but other times they're copy-paste. And that, again, it just kind of goes down to, you know, what's available information-wise of what they can respond back to. And maybe Kabam, you know, Kabam have a long list of issues when it comes to this game that I don't know if they have the willingness to kind of go, do you know what, if we sat down and went this specific problem for this specific device, or this specific problem that we didn't know about but has already sprung up again, and when we then change something it causes another issue. Hey, that's complexity under and over complexity with these particular situations. Always very difficult. I think Kabam find when it comes to the tech that they have, not text, tech with it. But in any case, like, long story short, get to the point. We have had a month of lack of activity from Kabam. Oh, I'd love for this to load if I click the button. Oh, there we go. God, my internet sometimes is not particularly good. So, yeah, it's been a long time without any kind of like any response from Kabam. They finally gave an answer on this particular situation as of March 20th. Now, I did miss out for the MCN, and that's just because there's always a lot of stuff to kind of like catch up with and uncover. But Kabam Jack said the issue is something the game team has been working on behind the scenes. Apologies for not being transparent about that sooner. It appears they have a good idea what's causing the issue and are on the road to fixing it. A temporary, less than ideal workaround is as follows. Have new Alliance members wait the next matchmaking period. Afterwards, they should be able to join any future wars. More news as we receive it. And that's obviously, you know, part way to an answer. And as well, you know, from members of, I assume, Better Next Time is part of the one of the alliances affected. Also, Jax, the wording to the solution is throwing me off a little bit. If you already made changes and you are out of luck for this war in a few hours, are you saying after this matchmaking it will be fixed? Raids will still be going on. So how does change anything? Of course, there's a lot more to this, and as well, you know, people within their rights to go, look, well, we've got to get some stuff sorted. And also on the message on in response to Mantooth says, how is this being posted as a workaround? Next matchmaking is hours away. Yeah, and again, it's all about kind of like answers to questions, so these particular alliances know what they're doing. Jack says the timeline for this resolution to this issue is not targeted at the next round of matchmaking. This is a larger issue that will require a larger solution. We don't have a timeline established right now. And this is the tough side of things, is that when I was letting Kabam know about these issues, I got the impression that this was something they did. It was bigger than it was. And I think by seeing some of the issues that we've seen recent times with matchmaking, alliance wars recently, and also some raid stuff, I don't know if Kabam are confident on these particular things, and the level of communication. They obviously didn't want to give any hope to people that they don't. I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing. Of course, they know what they're doing, but the ways they're trying to fix it is going to make things very kind of like long-ended on this stuff. But yeah, there needs to be like a resolution on this, and as well, there needs to be some element of compensation, especially as I've even kind of like talked about in the past with this. This is so the exit says there's a load of relevant points. I'm not skipping over this stuff, you know, on purpose. It's a case of like I want to make this at least a video update on a situation that's been very bad for players. Yeah, so there's not. Yeah, you know, the exit's right. There's been no apology, right? There's no information as to how they're going to put this right. In some instances, they've said like in support tickets, you know, if we do compensation or whatever, but it's like you need to. These alliances have been affected for too long, regardless if it's like a small amount, a minority of the community. It still needs to be sorted out. And this isn't a workaround. That's the problem, isn't it? If it's not working out for people, and yeah, all we got was some extremely late word from the company that's supposed to tide us over until what? We've been given a message like this before and went nowhere. Even the Trello board doesn't mention the issue, and that's the issue as well that I said. Like I said in recent videos, communication on bugs is such a bad thing at the moment, and it seems like if it's questioned as to like, you know, not knowing if it's a bug, constantly having to record your gameplay to kind of like find those bugs. And when they're submitted to go, hey, you know, Kabam always say that, you know, oh, we're the beta testers for everything in game. That's all well and good, and that's fine. It's just a case of like, please look into some of these bugs that have been kind of issued. Apart from, you know, saying to people, oh, you missed a day out of the objectives, it's your fault. And it's like I get it kind of like feels that that's the way, and it just would be nice to see like some resolution to these issues. To me, this is a very open shut case to say, look, these alliances have been affected. What can we do at a later stage to, you know, compensate them in some way, because they have felt, and they are definitely, and it's 100% that they are without without any compensation. Even worse, because this is 2 days after Kabam responded and confirmed workaround doesn't work for us as well. So yeah, the workaround hasn't worked around for those particular people. Sad as well, because I don't know if Mantooth is part of like the same alliance as what is it? New what are they called? New Nation or whatever they are. The alliance that White Mummy is in. Because it's our Masters run is over. Time to just watch the Alliance Wars rating diminish. Pointless to use items anymore and try and watch massive turnover when the season ends. That sucks. That does suck on the matter. So yeah, I don't know what Kabam plan to do. There's an answer, but unfortunately, it's just not good. And look, as I said this, and I said in previous videos, this may happen to your alliance, or it may not. And if it does, it sucks, because you might feel like the world is against you. And this is a stage where it's like this alliance has really had the rough end of the draw, as many alliances have. You know, we've covered that, where some really weird stuff of matchmaking, placement bugs, so many things. So I really hope Kabam sort these alliances out. Yes, there's been a response, but sadly, it's not great at the moment. And I really hope they actually deal with this, and, you know, compensate these players for what has been lost seasons, lost rewards, and yeah, I hope this doesn't happen to any other alliance or alliances in the future. And hopefully we learn more about the bug being fixed. Maybe they'll take Alliance Wars down for a length of time while they fix this, which you kind of think, why haven't they done that between the previous season and this season? Just bizarre. But in any case, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the matter? And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.